Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are here for a long-awaited DIY for our farmhouse style gather sign, and this is something that I have gotten more requests for than I can even count. I've been making signs like this in my side business for the past 3 years, and I am finally starting to phase out of it a little bit. I do still make these and I love to make them, but I am very pregnant and I have a 3-year-old daughter and I work full-time. And you know what? I just don't have time to make these signs anymore. So here's my video to you, showing you how you can do this on your very own. All right, so I am going to preface this video before we start hopping into the materials list, is I do use a Cricut to cut my vinyl stencils out. That's the method that I prefer to use so that I get a consistent, uniform look every time that I make the sign, because I could have 10 orders for one sign in the same week and they all need to look identical. This is the best method to make it look identical. Now I do have another method for you guys in here as to how you can make this sign on your own without a Cricut device, like I did when I first started my sign business. It is a little bit more time consuming. It looks just as good in the end, and it is just a little bit more of a labor of love. So now that we've prefaced it with that I use a Cricut to cut my vinyl, let's hop on into the materials list. All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, just a little like FYI, my daughter's over here eating a donut on the stool. All right, so what you're gonna start out with is a 1x12 piece of lumber. Now this is just standard pine that I get from my local hardware store, Menards. You can get this at Home Depot and Lowe's as well. All right, so I usually start out with getting a 1x12x8, and that means that the board is 1 inch thick, 12 inches wide, 8 feet long. Now the reason why I get that is because one of those boards will make 2 of these signs, because one of these signs is 4 feet long. So this one has already been pre-cut down to 4 feet for me. I did this a couple days ago. Your next step is going to be to paint the board. Now this is just what I use. I think this is just from, honestly, I think this one is from Walmart. Okay, so I've already taken the liberty of just painting this sign ahead of time to save on video time. So this is already painted white. Again, this is the 12-inch wide, 4-foot long board. And this is what we're going to use to make our sign. The next step after you have your board laid out is you want to either A, cut your vinyl, which again will be a separate video. Once I do make that video, I will link it either here or here or down below for you guys so that you can reference that video. But if you do not have a Cricut or Silhouette machine or any kind of vinyl cutting machine, that is okay, you guys. I never had one of these machines. When I started, I made hundreds of signs free-handed, so I promise you that you can do this all by yourself as well. What I don't have with me to show you is the printed out letters. Now what I would do is I would just print out the letters that I wanted to go on the sign, or the saying that I wanted to go on a sign. I would print that out from either Microsoft Word, or I would blow it up or shrink it down in Adobe PDF. Now, the PDF form is a little bit more versatile because you can blow it up as big as 24 by 24 inches or 48 by 48. Really, the sky is the limit. It's just gonna print out more papers for you and you need to tape them together. With a sign like this, you would just need to print out on a simple piece of printer paper that should be big enough. So make sure that you do 1 letter per page and make sure that that letter takes up the entire page. The font for this, a really good font if you don't have a huge selection. I have some of my own fonts that I've created myself or freehanded myself and loaded into the computer. But a really good font that you can do for this is Times New Roman, or Baskerville is one of my other favorites to use. And I will have download links for both of those down below. Times New Roman is pretty common on most computers, and I believe the Baskerville is something that comes on the MacBook. I'm not 100% on PC, but I'll check into that for you. Regardless, I should have download links down below for those fonts. If you are one of those people who printed out your letters on a regular printer, you're gonna need to pick up some of this. Now this is trace paper, and you guys, This brings back the memories. The first year that I made these signs, this is what I used. This tracing paper, and you get it from Hobby Lobby. You can get it from Michael's. You can get it online, and this is a very well used piece of trace paper. If I hold it up, you can kind of see some of the old letters on here. Oh, the memories. My old signs. Oh, so many memories. So what this piece of paper will do is, it's got like a little bit of it's like a carbon paper. Once you press down with a pencil onto the wood, it's going to leave behind that carbon print, just like with a check. It has just a little bit of carbon on there, so that's what gets left behind. But if that's what you're doing, so you lay this down, and you can tell there's two sides to this paper, to this trace paper. You will lay down the darker side, and the rough side. That will go flat down on your sign, on your surface. And then you will take your printed out letters and you will lay them on the sign how you want them to be arranged. So with this one, it says gather, so G-A-T-H-E-R. And you can get enough of these pieces of trace paper so that you don't need to move this along. You can just lay your trace paper down, lay your printed out letter on top, tape it down to secure it, and then all you gotta do is trace. All you gotta do is trace. So I'm gonna do just a little bit of an example. Like I said, I don't have these letters printed out, I just have the vinyl cut out. But I'm gonna do a little bit of an example as to how that works, and then run through how you would fill in those letters. All right, so what I'm going to do for an example is I'm just going to do this to the back of one of my boards that I have cut and ready to go. This is what you do with the trace paper. Now, the darker side goes face down onto your wood. And then on top of that, I am just using this as an example. This is just a piece of paper with like a grocery list on it. But you would put your said printed out letter onto the trace paper. And then you would take a pen or a pencil. You would give it fairly good pressure, and you would press down. Say that this is your letter, you would trace your letters with fairly good pressure. Okay, and then once you're done with all of your letters, it's gonna take you much longer than it did with just this for me. But once you're done, you'll untape everything, lift it up, and this is what you have left, right? This is very traceable, but it also will rub off if you rub it hard enough because it's just carbon. And now this is the best thing that I could find to show you guys. This is a painter's marker. Now this is what I would use to fill in my markers. This is a fine tip. You can get the regular as well if you have a bigger space. But basically you shake this up, press down, and then you would start tracing with a marker and fill it in. You can also freehand paint it as well with a paintbrush and paint. I just found that over the years that these were much quicker to use. Again, this one is an old one. It was the only one I could find around the house to give you guys a good example. Okay guys, so that is going to complete the tutorial for the tracing paper. Very simple method, but very effective method. Like I said, I used it for the first year of my business, you guys. It is a great method, and don't think by any means that you need to go out, buy yourself a Cricut in order to make yourself a beautiful sign for at home. All right, now that we have that tutorial gone over, I am going to show you guys how I currently make my signs and how I keep them all uniform and with clean lines and getting the same product every single time. It's pretty easy when you do it this way. Again, if you hear singing in the background talking, it is my daughter. She's eating a donut and she's singing to her Paw Patrol toy. She's happy and she is letting mama do her thing, so. All right, now the vinyl that I use, I know I'm gonna get questions on this. I bounced back and forth for a while. I would use contact paper for my vinyl. I went from a white contact paper to a clear contact paper. And now I am using a higher up brand of vinyl just because I do this on a professional level and I want my signs to look good. So the brand that I use is the Auriful. That is Oracle, it's the Auriful. I'll put the stickiness details down below for you. It's not the permanent, this is the removable vinyl because this does need to come off. So this roll here, this is what I use to cut my vinyl out with my Cricut machine. And then this is what I use for a transfer tape. After you cut your vinyl, you need something to transfer it onto your desired media. So this is what I use. This is just a contact paper made by the duct tape brand, and I think I just get this at Menards. You can find this in shorter rolls at Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, and Menards. So this is, and I'll leave links to all this stuff down below for you guys, but I also want you guys to know where you can get it in town as well. Okay guys, now we're getting down to business. All right, so this is my vinyl all cut out. GA, here's my TH, and here's the ER. This is a very thick vinyl, really good quality, really like it. So first things first is I'm going to show you guys how I put my contact paper on here. Again, I'm not showing you how I cut the vinyl, I'm just showing you what I do from that point forward. So my next step after I've cut my vinyl on my Cricut is I will get transfer tape on it, and then I will transfer the vinyl onto the desired media, which in this case is our 4-foot long white painted piece of pine. And then I'll show you what you do next after that. All right, well, I am very pregnant, so that's why my belly is sitting in my lap. All right, so let's move on to our vinyl. So I'm just using an old Target gift card, and a razor blade, and then I'm gonna open up my contact paper. All right, so I have my 3-year-old behind the camera. Let's see how this works. All right, so what I do is I will take my vinyl, I will take my transfer tape, and I will just cover. Then what he'll do is I just take my razor blade and I cut. There we go.
That's cut.
And then I take the vinyl, transfer tape, whatever you want to call it, and I just peel along the edge. Don't peel the whole thing, just the edge. All right, so this side fits on here nice and snug. All right, so now that I have my vinyl kind of cut down, you'll see I have these cutouts, and it's because the vinyl on this fits pretty darn snugly from what I've cut out from my Cricut. Now, what I like to do next is just line up my vinyl, make sure that the letters line up. Once you have made sure the letters are lining up and that everything is even, one of my tricks is to make sure that the line on the bottom and the line on the top are even and they're not crooked. But anyways, kind of hard for me to talk that through with you guys, so I'm just going to show you what I do. This is a nitpicky process because you want to make sure that the letters are evenly spaced. So you might see me arrange and rearrange a couple times here, or stick and re-stick, just to make sure that everything is nice and even. But we're just gonna dive right in. We're gonna start to peel the backs of these off, like so. Start peeling them, or finish peeling them. So your end product is going to look like this, with the vinyl on the back, the black vinyl on the back, and your clear transfer tape or your clear vinyl on the front. And you're just going to lay that where you need it to go. Okay, so your next step after you have secured your vinyl down is to take your paint, all right, and then take a paintbrush, and this is going to seal the letters so that you don't have any leaking when you're painting the black on. The worst thing when you have put all this work into a sign is for the letters, the lines to be fuzzy and to start leaking through. That is the worst, and I've had it happen way too many times to count. So this is what I do now to make sure that it is sealed. Now this doesn't need to be fancy, this doesn't need to be clean in any way. You just make sure you go in all different directions and make sure you have a decent amount of paint on your brush and just wipe away. Again, not something you need to be super careful of because you're just sealing the edges. All right, now that you have an even layer, a pretty thick layer, generous layer on your vinyl, you're gonna let this dry. It takes about 15 minutes, and then we're going to move on to the actual color of the letters. Again, this just seals it and makes sure that the top color doesn't leak and seep onto the color underneath on the signs. So, clean edges equals a happy mama. All right, now that this is dry, there's a couple of wet spots in the middle, but the letters are dry. But the next step is to paint. And I'm using, this is just a Rust-Oleum enamel paint in satin black. And this one I'm going to be a little bit more careful with. And dip it in. And then I'm going to fill in my letters. I'm not going to bore you guys with my talking while I do this. I'm just going to fast forward through this part. Pretty straightforward at this point, but yeah. Okay, you guys, I have this all painted all the way. And this enamel paint takes a little bit longer to dry because it is a thicker paint. So I'm going to let this dry. I'm gonna say this is gonna take about 30 minutes or so. I'm gonna let it dry, and then I will be back with you guys to show you what to do after that. All right guys, so this is for the most part dry. It does not look like it on camera. This is a very shiny paint. See, it's a little bit wet still, kind of tacky, but that's okay. I am going to start peeling off the vinyl to show you what the letters turned out like. Okay guys, well after you're done, your sign should look something like this, and all the lines should be clean. Again, my enamel paint is pretty shiny, so it looks like it's still wet, but it's not. Now, the next step is going to be getting your frame on this bad boy, and I will need my husband to help me a little bit with that one. Very clean lines, as you guys can see. Really liking this so far. All right, well, on to the next step down in the garage. And again, this is going to be your end product when you're all done. All right, you guys, well, that is going to end today's video. I hope you enjoyed our DIY video on how to do your own farmhouse gather sign. If you like this kind of video on my channel, please give it a big thumbs up so that I know to make more of these videos for you guys in the future. Be sure to tweet me your final product or tag me in it on Instagram if you upload it. I will leave my handles down below for you guys. I would love to see your own hand at this sign. It's one of my very favorites. Very Joanna Gainesy, very farmhousey, cute. Oh, it's a great sign for any type of home decor. Be sure you guys subscribe to my channel before you leave so that you don't miss out on any of my other future videos. and I will see you guys sometime in the very near future. Bye guys.
From me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.